Hi guys, welcome back to Sitn'Crochet, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this super easy crochet top. It's absolute beginner friendly. If you're new to the channel, you might want to stick around because we bring such goodness every single week. So before we get any further, why don't you click on that subscribe button at the bottom right corner. Let's get into it. Using a 5mm crochet hook, you're gonna make a slip knot like I just did, and now I'm gonna chain a chain. This chain will determine how long you want your top to be. I'm gonna chain 40. And you go on chaining yours. So now that I have my 40, I'm gonna chain an extra one to begin my row. So this whole top will be made using a half double slip stitch, and to do that we will yarn over into the second chain from the hook, which is this one right here. You insert your hook, loop your yarn, pull it through just like that, and now we've got 3 loops on the hook. Instead of yarning over as we would do with a half double crochet, we're just gonna slip stitch through that. To do that again, we yarn over, insert your hook into the next loop, loop the yarn through, and slip stitch it just like that. Insert your yarn, hook, pull the yarn through, and slip stitch through. And you do that all the way down the entire row. So just to do that together one more time, you yarn over, allocate your next chain, insert your hook, grab the yarn, pull it through, and slip stitch. So I'm gonna continue doing this all the way down my chain, and I will meet you on the very last one, which is where we're gonna do our increase. So now I've got one more chain to work into, this one right here, and this is where I will do my first increase. So into that third chain we'll place 2 half double slip stitches, just like that, and then we'll chain 2 to begin the new row and return. So since we've chained 2, this row we're gonna start with an increase, meaning that into the second chain from the hook we'll place our very first half double slip stitch, just like that, and from here on we'll only be working into the back loop. So into the back loop of these V's right here. And when we hold our work like this, you'll notice that it's starting to arc up. It's starting to form an increase. So I'm gonna go on doing this all the way down. Once I reach the end, I'll chain 1 and work my way back up, and I'll do another increase with you guys once I get up here. So I've got 1 more stitch left, and that's why I'm gonna do my increase. So I'm just gonna increase by placing 2 half double slip stitches in the same stitch, just like that, and I will chain 2 to start my next row. So far this is what it's looking like. I'm doing a size small, so I'm gonna increase for 5 rows. As for you, I don't know what your size is, but until it starts to come out from the tip of your armpit, that's how far you want it to go, and then go on to the other part where we chain the shoulder portion. But as for me, I'm just gonna go up to row 5, and I'll meet you once I get there. So I have reached row 5, and now I've got 1 more increase to make. And now we're about to make that, start making the shoulder portion. So for me, I'm gonna chain 15. and 1 to begin my row. So into the second chain from the hook, right there, I'm gonna place my first half double slip stitch, and I'm gonna go on working my way down, and once I reach the rest of the work, I will go on with the back loop half double slip stitch. So for my size, for the shoulder portion, I'm gonna do about 3 rows, no increases. So once I reach the top, I mean we're not increasing at the bottom anyway, we're just chaining one and turning. I'll work my way back up. Once I reach up here, I will not increase, I'll just chain one and go on. So I'm gonna work about 3 rows for my shoulder chunk right here, and I'll meet you once I have my 3 rows. So I have worked 3 rows, as you can see, for my shoulder portion, and I have gotten started on the other row. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna leave 3 stitches at the very top to start doing our decrease for our neck. So this is where you want to grab your stitch marker. So I've placed my stitch marker into the 3rd chain from the top, and what I'm gonna do is once I get near the stitch marker, I'm gonna leave 2 stitches where I'm gonna do my where we're gonna work our first decrease. So I will meet you once I have 2 stitches left. So now I've got 2 stitches left, this one and this one, and that's where we're gonna do our very first decrease. So we yarn over as we usually do, insert into there, loop over, pull through. We've got 3 loops on our hook, and then we'll insert into the second chain. Now we've got 4 loops on the hook, and now we're just gonna slip stitch into all of them, just like that. Okay, I don't think I did that right. Hold on. Just to do that again, we'll yarn over into the first chain. We have 3 loops on our hook, and then we're gonna insert into that next chain. Now we've got 4 loops on our hook. Now we're gonna slip stitch the yarn on the top of our hook into the 3 loops that we've got there, just like that. We chain 1 and turn our work. So the next row is also going to be a decrease row. So what we would do, yarn over as we did before into our first chain, which is this one right here. Insert your yarn. Now we've got 3 loops on the hook, and into the second one. Now we've got 4 loops on the hook, and we'll slip stitch into those 3. And from here on, we'll just go on down as normal. So now when I hold my work like this, you're gonna notice that it's starting to move downwards. So I'm gonna work all the way down, and I'll meet you once I'm back up here to do another decrease together, and then I'll let you finish off by yourself. So now I've got 2 more chains left to do my decrease. I will do what we had been doing before. Chaining 1, turning my work, and decreasing on the new row, just like that. So for my size, I'm gonna decrease for about 9 rows. This is the 4th row that I've just started, so I'm gonna do this for 11 rows. To know your size, what you want to do is this part here should be under your armpit. So and if you notice, this is quite stretchy, so this stitch tends to stretch. So to know that it's the size, once you have done your decreases, if after stretching it reaches mid chest, you want to stop there. So for me, 11 rows of decreases, it reaches around mid chest after stretching. That's why I'm doing 11 rows of decreasing, that is. But in total, it's 19 rows from here. So I will meet you once I have done my 11 rows of decreasing, and we can work together from there. So I have just done, completed my 11 rows. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna work 3 normal rows in the center right here. You could just work 1. If you want, you can work just a bit more, just to give it a bit more stretch. For me, that is. And then on the 4th row is where I'm gonna start doing the increase, because what we want to do now, we want to mirror this side, exactly what we did this side to the other side. So I'm just gonna do 3 normal rows of no increases and no decreases. So now I have just finished working the 3 rows and I have gotten started on my 4th row, and this is going to be the row where we start doing the increase. So we're just going to do that together, and from there on is where we're going to start mirroring what we did on the other side. So to increase, in that last stitch I've got left right here, I'm going to place 2 half double slip stitches, just like that. And to begin my new row, I will chain 2, turn my work, and in the second chain from the hook, right in there, I will place my first half double crochet. And by the way, if you have reached this far into the video, please can you comment to the fire emoji so I can know who you are, and a big thank you. So just like that, on my new row, I'm just gonna go on down as we've been doing the whole time. So just to explain what we've been doing, what we're doing now is we're just doing the very replica of this side, just on this side. So since we decreased 11 rows, we're gonna increase 11 rows. I'm on my second increase row right now, meaning we've got 9 left. So I'm gonna increase for 9 other rows, and you increase for however many rows you need, and I'll meet you once we have reached this part on the other side. So I have just finished my 11 rows of increases, and now it's time to do this little shoulder portion. So since we skipped 3 stitches on this side, it means we have to chain 3 on this side. So blocking off the 3rd chain, we're gonna chain 1 to begin the row, yarn over, and into the 2nd loop from the hook, we'll place our very first half double slip stitch. Let me do that again. So into the 2nd loop from the hook, place our first half double slip stitch, just like that. And we'll do that to all 3, and then we'll continue in the back loop only, going all the way down. So I did 3 rows on this side, which means I have to do the very same thing for this side. So 3 rows of no increases, just to mirror what we did on this side. So I'm going to do that off camera, and I'll meet you once I have done that, so we can finish off with this portion, with this underarm portion right here. So I have finished my shoulder portion, and if you remember, we chained 15 for this section. So what I did, I counted down 15 stitches and I placed a stitch marker in the 15th, because now we're about to start doing a decrease because we want to mirror this side. So as for me, I did about 5 rows of increases, and I'm gonna decrease 5 rows on this side. So to do the first one together, just a reminder of how we do a decrease. We're gonna yarn over and insert our hook into the very first stitch and into the second one. We'll insert our hook just like that. So now we've got 4 loops on our hook and we'll slip stitch into those 3 just like that, just like that. Chain 1, that's the first row of decrease, turn over, find the first stitch, which is this one right here, insert my hook. Now I've got 3 loops on my hook, insert into the second chain. Now I've got 4 loops on my hook and I'll slip stitch into those 3 just like that, and I'm gonna continue going down with back loop slip stitches all the way down until for the complete number of rows that I did on this side. So you go on doing that and I'll meet you once I have finished my rows. So you want to make 2 panels for the back of the same kind. I've already gone and connected. You're gonna connect on the side and the shoulders. So I have already gotten started. Then what I did after the shoulders, I went around using a single crochet each of this, right? After I had finished, chained 5 1 to start the row. So I went through with stitches. So I'm just gonna in it. Just back loops, that is. Place lipstick. In total, you got 5 stitches, and once you're done at the top, you turn your and still work back loops. We'll be placing our lipsticks and 5. So on that, you connect to the next crochet space to connect that row, and then to chain 1, you're gonna slip stitch into the next single crochet row. You will turn your work and go back up with a row of slip stitches. If you hold it like this, you're gonna see these 2 spots where you did your slip stitches. So you'll be starting from on the third, what looks like the third V, into the back loop of that with a slip stitch. And 5. Now chain 1, and this should be the last row so that we connect to this side. Into the back loops, I'll go in with my slip stitches and 5. Holding my work like this is my next single crochet, and I have finished the row. So now all I have to do is connect these 2 ends together, and I shall do that using a slip stitch method as well, just like I've been doing. Bear in mind that I'm going to turn this inside out since we don't want this to be showing on the outside of our work. You can use a needle for this, but I'm going to use my hook. Pulling your yarn on that side like that, you will find that slip stitch and just pull it through like that, and then you find the next chain you made and just slip stitch like that. Try and make it as perfect as you can. If you can't find the stitches, all of them, that's absolutely fine. And into the last one. And I will chain 1, grab my scissors, and I will cut off the yarn. And this should be the finished piece. I absolutely cannot wait to try it on. I hope you enjoyed this, guys.